been on the implementation team, so implemented about 200 of our customers with all 4 of our products, and also was our strategic account manager for quite a few years and very familiar with our Infor solution. So excited to share the rebates tool with you all. I'm joined here with Alexa, so I'll let her give an intro.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexa West. I'm an Infor specific account executive here at Phocas, working very closely with the central data team to support our mutual customers. Great to see everyone.
So just a high-level overview for those of you who are new to Phocas about us. We are a global company and we work with a ton of different ERPs, but we love our Infor customers. We have over 2,800 companies across the globe as our customer base. We actually started off in Orange, Australia, and our development team is in the lovely Christchurch, New Zealand. And our 2 headquarter offices here in the US, Orlando's still there because that's where it started off, but we no longer have that base. It's Reno and Costa Mesa, California. We also have another office in Coventry, and it's been really nice to be able to work together with our entire global team, helping everybody get up and running and coordinating things with our customers. We are really proud to share that we have a 97% customer retention rate here at Phocas. We work really hard to ensure our customers are happy once they get up and running with the tool. We want to make sure you have a seamless implementation, and especially with our central data solution, we have a great integration with Infor, and we found that our customers have loved using the tool. We do also have over 200 other integrations. So if you have Infor, but you also have other like CRM or different types of platforms that you want to incorporate into Phocas, that's also another thing to know. And we are a certified B Corp because we love the planet. So just a little bit about us. We do have 4 key products here at Phocas Software. We started off as a BI company primarily, so that is our core, and everything is built off of that core. So we have an analytics product, and then we have our financial statements, budgeting and budgets and forecasts, and then rebates. So our platform brings all of the data together for you and your people. We want to make sure that you have that all-in-one platform where everybody in distribution manufacturing is able to see their sales data, their purchasing data, inventory, financials, be able to do that, the budgeting and planning and everything all in one place and not having to go to a different tool for every single team. We want to make sure that these products are working together smoothly for you to make it easier for you to better plan for your financial future. And the key to that too is just being able to align that operations team and the financials team together. So today we are going to focus on our rebates tool. We're gonna go through a couple things. I like to keep these sessions pretty interactive. So if you notice in the beginning, there was a QR code to scan, and it's going to pop up again because I have some questions to ask coming up. But today we are going to go through how you can track and analyze your rebates into different revenue opportunities, how you can start boosting your bottom line by looking into those rebates. And we're going to spend more time on the vendor side of rebates, but Phocas does also help with your customer payable rebates as well. We're going to look at how you can automate those rebates, the payable rebates and your receivable rebates. So just making sure that you guys have those calculations happening every single night, and then how you can track whether or not you're overpaying those payables or underclaiming those receivable rebates. And then also how you can improve that data visibility to better understand the rebate performances and those opportunities. So to start, I've just got a couple questions to get a read of the audience in the room today. If you scan that QR code with your smartphone, you should automatically get a link that pops up for you to answer these questions. So the first question is, are you currently managing your volume rebates outside of Infor CSD? Looks like I got one answer. I'll give it like 30 seconds for people to answer. You have to hit submit after you hit your yes or no. And so again, this is, are you managing your volume rebates out of Infor CSD? We're curious to know because a lot of our customers that we've been talking to have been needing to manage these volume rebates outside, both the payables and the receivables outside of the ERP, and looking for a solution to automate that. Okay, so it looks like the majority of people that are on here are managing their rebates outside of CSD. So to get a little bit more detail from you guys, what method are you using to calculate those? Are you using Excel spreadsheets right now? Are you calculating this just manually, maybe looking at your top 3 or 4 different supplier agreements that you have, or let's say these are payable rebates, calculating those payable rebates manually, or are you relying on your buying group reports solely? So just trusting what that, if you're part of a buying group, trusting those reports that they send you on a monthly basis, or not calculating those rebates at all and just depositing the checks or paying the checks out. And the reason I put manually on there as an option is because really I have heard a couple of customers who just do it with a pen, paper, and a calculator. I love using this because it's so fun watching the bars grow. Let's see. So it looks like the majority of our users are using Excel right now to calculate these. And then we do have someone who is just depositing the checks right now. So there could be some missed rebate opportunities, definitely with that. With Excel, I definitely think it's interesting to see so many people using Excel. I feel like that's kind of the easiest place to get started when you are wanting to move into some type of data transformation journey. I feel like, you know, even when our customers, when I first started implementing Phocas years ago, it was everybody was doing their sales reporting out of Excel, usually, you know, exporting the data out of Infor, putting it into Excel, kind of creating some dashboards there. It's usually the first step, and then we automate into a BI tool, so you have that reporting quick and easy. And I find it's interesting because majority of distributors and manufacturers are calculating their rebates in Excel right now because it's kind of the main tool that you have to use. The difficulty is there is usually a ton of tiers that you're calculating, and if you have one percentage wrong, you can make a pretty big miscalculation there. It's also very time consuming. The other this is the third question that I have, but just curious, how much of your bottom line do rebates make up today? If you don't know, just pick your favorite number or color on here. But if you do know, I think it's really interesting as I've been working with a lot of our customers over the last couple of months on this to see really how large of a portion rebates make up at the end of the year of your bottom line. It's interesting too because usually this is something that the CFO and the entire finance office is very aware of, the purchasing and buying team, but a lot of the times the rest of the company isn't even aware of how significant those rebate dollars are. And having this be a little bit more visible to the overall team is definitely an important piece. And it's something that I actually have a lot of passion about, which is why I love the rebates tool so much. Now I'm just curious for if people actually knew or if which color is going to win. We have got quite a few answers in here. It looks like I think we have the same amount of people answering. So um, our highest answer is 15 to 30%. That is a huge portion of your margin that is allocated to rebate dollars. Let's say your bottom line, that could even be make or break for your bottom line. I actually was talking to one of our customers 2 days ago about this, and it turned out that their entire margin was actually dependent on their rebates because they had such high expenses since they opened up 2 new branches last year, and that was totally unexpected. They were gonna, be break even, and then their entire profit ended up being what they received in rebate dollars, which was a significant amount, multiple millions. So is there a chance that you could be leaving money on the table with such a large portion of your rebates being a part of your bottom line? Most of the people answered that they're calculating those rebates in Excel. You could be leaving money on the table. It can happen frequently, even if one rebate got missed or a couple, and it's very easy to overlook. So from what I hear, while the industry doesn't talk too much about numbers, the anecdotal evidence says about 40 to 60% of a business's bottom line numbers are attributable to distributors' rebates. This can make or break your year. When working with our current customers, we have found that mostly only about 80% have accuracy in calculating those rebates manually using Excel or relying on what your suppliers are paying you and calculating on their own. This could be a missed tier, an incorrect percentage, the wrong purchase amount that you copied and pasted or downloaded from Infor, and it could even just be the inability to easily calculate those volume growth rebates or year-over-year increases. The average distributor who does about 50 million in sales usually has between 5 and 10% of rebate dollars of their top line revenue allocated received by suppliers at the end of each year. So let's just use 5% as a conservative example. That would be about $2.5 million in rebates that you are receiving. If we were to just be conservative about our example with maybe $1 million of rebates processed, by using an automated rebates engine, even if you were to increase 5% of that accuracy, so jumping from 80% to 85% of those rebates processed, that would equate to over 50,000 saved rebate dollars. And having the ability to see those dollars clearly with every transaction detail for every PO, the expected rebate that you expect to see, and the percentage on every single one, to be able to even send those back to your suppliers. So I talk with distributors all the time, many who are using Infor CSD and CSDE and SXE as well. And here's really what I hear them coming to me struggling when it comes to rebates. So number one, they are usually using Excel for their rebates management, and they're just struggling to be able to check those rebate amounts against those different supplier agreements. So usually they'll have, either a binder or a file folder of all sorts of PDF agreements that they get every single year. Usually they're having these supplier negotiation meetings at the end of the year, like October through December. They've got all new agreements in January, and some of them are proactive and will start to calculate those on their own in the beginning of the year. A lot of the times people will wait until the end of the year to calculate and check these agreements, even though many do get paid on a monthly basis. Number two, it's getting that visibility into real-time performance. So being able to see where you're at with your rebate dollars on a more frequent basis other than just looking back at what you were supposed to get each month. It's number three, spotting those opportunities in enough time. So buying teams typically will go to the finance team and say, hey, I think you're about 5 or 10% away from hitting the highest bracket in this tiered volume rebate with one of our suppliers. We should probably make a purchase here. but usually that's coming in November or something like that. Being able to spot those opportunities ahead of time to find out how you could maximize on those rebates and make smarter purchasing decisions and sales decisions across the company, and ahead of time being more proactive is something that a lot of distributors are looking for. And then number 4, it's using that data to negotiate better rebates deals or even just manage disputes with those suppliers. So then on the negotiation side, if you want to have some data armed with how you performed, even in the whole entire year or just quarterly basis with those suppliers, being able to have that data quickly in your negotiation meetings at the end of the year to say, this is how I did, this is how we did last year with you guys as a partner. Maybe we can use that data to help you guys negotiate a better agreement on specific product categories that you get paid on, maybe higher percentages, things like that. And even show them that you're tracking these and you are trying to maximize your rebates with that vendor might incentivize them to give you a better deal too. On the flip side, it's managing those disputes with your suppliers. So if you find, I actually talked to another customer last week who mentioned that their biggest supplier actually paid them, it was just 1%, but they were 1% off every single year on a rebate. And they had no idea for multiple years, and they went back and checked. By that time, it was too late to go and claim all those dollars, but it added up to, $3 million in missed rebates over those 5 years. And so it's quite a lot from just one rebate being off of 1%. So overall, it's time consuming, it's manual, and money is being left on the table. So some of these challenges can lead to a lot of time being spent on manual work, missed upsell chances, and lost opportunities. So maybe you are wanting to create some type of visibility for your sales team to be able to sell more of different items that you have a rebate for. Also, if you guys have customer payable rebates or customer spiff programs that you want to track as well, you can also maybe you could use that side as well for the upsell side of things. A lot of our customers want to be able to have their sales team call a customer and say, hey, you're not too far off from hitting this rebate. If you buy a couple more of these items, you'll hit the next tier. Also having that visibility on if you're overpaying your customer. So if your payable rebates are calculated in Excel and you have an incorrect percentage or incorrect sales amount from the month copied and pasted over from Infor, you could be overpaying. Same thing on the other side, under receiving those rebates. Delayed updates or slow processing times. Again, just if it takes 2 to 3 business days to calculate these rebates every month, you could be taking quite a long time to actually pay those amounts, and delaying the time, reducing that time to actually make purchasing decisions or better sales decisions. It's using all of that time into just figuring out how much rebates you are owed and how much you're expected to receive and how much you're expected to pay out, and not spending any time on the data analysis. And lastly, trade relationships are tense. So, discrepancies or delays in rebate claims can cause difficult or strained relationships with your suppliers. So, having your data and your ducks in a row with your rebates just makes that relationship even stronger, and make sure that you guys don't have to go back and forth, with a check to say, hey, actually, it looks like you guys have paid us the wrong percentage for the last 7 or 8 months, and we're claiming back more dollars. First off, that means that you're making an adjustment entry on the P&L, and you're also having to go back to your supplier for a correction because you didn't calculate these rebates up until the end of the year. So again, we have a solution to hopefully help. Phocas Rebates solves for a lot of those common challenges that you encounter when tracking your rebates manually. We have an automated process to help reduce those risks of errors, to be able to move all those calculations from an Excel into our tool to automate that and give you your entire team visibility into being able to see your rebate agreements in one place and providing that accurate rebate data to your finance team, purchasing team, sales team, and whoever needs it. How it works. So Phocas software connects directly to your Infor ERP, and it automatically pulls in your invoice level details. So for sales rebates, we'll be connecting to your sales data, and we'll be pulling in sales invoices and then connecting the rebates to that. So let's say you pay your rebate out to a specific customer for a specific product category that they buy, then we'll be connecting right into those sales invoices. On the receivable side, we connect to your purchasing data, and we pull in your PO receipts and also your open POs. Usually rebates are off of PO receipts. They might be off of invoice date or receipt date, and we pull in both of those so we can set it up that way. Then what we do is we create a project, which I'll show you in the demo here shortly. You can go in and add each of your different agreements as a rule, and then we run those calculations every night, and we post those calculation results into a Phocas dashboard and a database so that you can create reports, you can create favorites, alerts, all of that stuff, and have it sent to your team and have easy and quick visibility into what your rebates are, making it easier for you to closely monitor the money you are saving or paying out to customers. It makes it a lot easier for you to automatically track your rebates and be more strategic with that purchasing. And then we push it into being able to see two key areas: your actual rebates for what you received, and then also your near miss data. So any rebates that you, if they're tiered, where you're about to hit that next bucket. All right, time to take a look at the product. So since we have a couple of people on here that are new to Phocas, I just wanted to give a quick overview of what our analytics tool looks like before we jump into rebates, because it usually makes it a little bit easier to understand how the rebates tool works. So with central data, this is actually using our Infor CloudSuite solution that we have out of the box built for our Infor customers. We offer a sales database, purchasing, inventory, AR, and AP right off the bat, and then the financials, budgets, and rebates. So we have this already pre-built integration that connects to the invoice level detail right from Infor, and this is what you can get started with. So a lot of the data here for our Infor customers should look pretty familiar with the groupings that you can see here. The key thing that we love, this is our sales database. On the left-hand side with Phocas, you can see we've got all sorts of different buttons here, which is what we call dimensions. So if you want to do something really easy and look at, your sales for the current year for all of your different customers, you can pull in your different customers. We can look at, our different products and our product categories here. Bring in some more data. We can look at each individual SKU. So if I wanted to, look at one particular SKU, see which customer is buying that, I can just filter down right onto that one SKU and see all of my different customers. I can sort my customers quickly by their sales amount. I can, filter down very easily, look at my top 10 customers for their sales, I can drill down and get into the transactions and get right down into the invoice level detail from anywhere that I'm at within Phocas. And you can do that filtering on any of this. So if you wanted to look at, you know, which sales reps are performing the best, you can click here. Right here on this button, it's going to give you a list of all your sales reps. You can see which rep is performing the best, what customers they're selling to, what items they're buying, that customer is buying, and get those answers to your data really quick. So for a payable rebate, if you were paying out a rebate to Clean Springs, for example, maybe you're paying them a 5% rebate on any sales that they've grown year over year with you for one particular product line. Looks like we could just do like mulch, for example. What Phocas is going to do for rebates is it's going to be connecting that sales data and or the purchasing data right into rebates, allowing you to be able to create those filters very easily. So you could choose the customer, you can choose the product line or product category, or even the individual SKU. And then with Phocas, it's very easy to go in and customize any content that you want to see. So we do have a whole bunch of different dashboards, which I'm going to show you quite a few for rebates today. And you can easily go in and combine multiple sets of data if you want to look at your purchasing, your sales, your financials all in one place. We can bring all of that data into a dashboard for you. And then favorites, if you have any reports that you want to look at or save different views. None of our reports are static, but you can go in and save a view, and then you could start, doing that drill down from there. So rebates. Over here, when I pop out my home screen, I can switch from the analytics area over into rebates. And we want to always keep everything simple here at Phocas. You can start off as simple as you want, crawl, walk, run, and get as complicated as you want. So right here on the screen, what I'm seeing is a nice view of my receivables and my payable rebates. I can filter based on the different type of rebates that I have, and I can create new projects, clone, and recreate them. So this gives me a great place to store all of my rebate agreements. And if I click into this, this is where you can see the different types of rebate rules that are in different types of agreements that we can calculate in here. So you can see I've got some fixed percentage rebates, I have inclusion rebates, I've got some tiered rebates as well. So if we wanted to take a look at how one of these looks, this is where I can go in. I can take that supplier agreement that I have in a PDF or typed up in Excel and put in the parameters here. So this gives your team a nice, easy view to be able to click in right from your analytics tool to see what those requirements are underneath each agreement. I can see that I could set up, the date period for if this agreement's only valid for the current year. I put in the rule name. I can set it up to be filtered down to one particular vendor. So we'll bring in all of those vendors or customers right from your source data. And then you can set up those inclusions or exclusions. So let's say, your rebate for in this case, I receive a rebate from Katana Surfboards on just these 3 different product classes, but we're excluding to a SKU and one particular product subclass. We see this all the time, that vendor rebates are pretty complicated and they'll pay you on a particular product category, particular SKUs, and just maybe excluding 1 or 2. So it gives you that really nice flexibility to do that. And if I wanted to take a look at what it looks like, it's going to bring in that list right from Phocas, which is coming right from Infor. And then down here, you can see that I have this set up as a tiered rebate. where I get paid a percentage back on the purchases that I did. So from 0 to 100,000, I get paid 1%, 100,000 to 200,000, I get paid 2%, 200,000, and anything up from 200,000, I get 5%. I can see those results right away. And that I hit 5% because this one is set up to back to $1, which is a question we get all the time. And I can actually click right here and I can see each individual invoice, PO, the cost on each one, and what the rebate percentage was right away. I can also store my PDF agreements right here as an attachment if I want to have that within here. So once we go in and we add all of our different agreements to Phocas here, we're actually able to set this up to auto calculate every single night. So we can have this, all your rebates calculating automatically on a nightly basis from Infor. So we get that purchasing data, we get that sales data updated every night, and it's going to actually start calculating what your rebates are supposed to be to the day. Once we have all of those rebates entered and calculating, then it's really easy to go in and customize your dashboards however you want them to look. This is a purchasing rebates dashboard that a lot of our customers are wanting to be able to see. So if you want to look at maybe your rebates by different branch or different location, you could actually filter that down to, your different locations. Maybe you have multiple buying groups that you're a part of that you get rebate agreements from. We can go in and actually filter, I want to look at all of the rebates for this particular buying group. It's going to filter everything down in my screen to that one selection. Now, I can see here what our overall purchase cost is before rebates, how much we expect to receive, and then what our purchases are after rebates were applied. And then I can keep scrolling down to get some additional detail. So if I wanted to have a really quick view here to see all of my purchases by each individual supplier, I can see what my rebate amount was expected to get by supplier, side by side with that PO value, what our value is after rebates and those percentages. I can keep going down. Here, I've actually set up a view so I can see how many suppliers I have without a rebate. So these are some suppliers that we do significant purchases with, but we don't have a rebate agreement in place with them. We can also take a look at each of those suppliers and their AP amount, since we're pulling in your accounts payable data as well from Infor, being able to see how much we were paid and how much hasn't been paid. And then we can keep getting more granular with that data. So this is what's really cool about Phocas. It starts off with the high level, and then we can go all the way down to the individual product category, to the product subclass, to the individual SKU, and all the way down to the transaction. But here we can get some cost analysis. So I can look at, at an overall product class level, what our average cost is per item, and then what it is after those rebates were applied per individual item. Then I can go down here and actually look at each individual SKU. And I can actually filter that. So I can see, maybe I want to look at one particular SKU and I want to see what that true cost is. So now I can see, our pre-rebate cost for that item is 182. Our true cost is actually 172 after the rebates were applied. And then what a lot of our customers have been wanting to do is entering in those rebate agreements from 2024 and calculating what our missed extra rebate could have been if we actually hit our potential for all of those tiered rebates. So let's say you have 10, 15, 20, maybe even 100 rebate agreements that are volume-based tiered rebates. So that means that you could get paid 10 to 15% based upon, sorry, if you grew 10 to 15% year over year, you might get paid 2% back. Let's say you grow between 15 and 20%, you get paid 3%. Now, let's say you're just 100 items away from hitting that 15 to 20% bucket to get paid that additional 1%, so 3% on all, but it's 3% on all purchases. But you missed it because you didn't know that you were only 200 items away from buying that. What we do here is we actually pull in all of your tiered rebates into one view so you can see exactly how much you need to spend to get to that next level and what that additional rebate dollar will be. And also we do a quick ROI calculation for you. And I can see from last year I missed 219,000 in rebates. We have an expanded view of that as well here. So if you wanted to filter out on a different percentage of those, we call this our near miss analysis. So if I wanted to look at all of my rebate agreements that are between 90 and 100% of hitting that next tier, I can filter down on that, and it's going to show me all of the agreements that are really close to hitting that next tier. So down here, I can see that detail by each individual rebate. And I can see, for lights and lamps with steel fin fabrication, I'm currently in this bracket here, 50,000 to 75,000. And I'm between 90 to 100% of hitting that next highest tier. Well, it looks like I'm really close to hitting that bracket. And you don't even have to look at all these buckets because you can just scroll right over and see how much you need to spend, but I only need to spend $1.62 to get an additional $1,800 for this rebate. So all of this comes automatically. We're doing all of that heavy lifting for you by doing those Phocas, doing all those calculations off of your transaction data from your purchasing right from Infor. It's automatically calculating. It's going to automatically post to this dashboard. You will get this dashboard right when you're implemented, and you can, right after all of your agreements are entered in here, you'll be able to start doing this analysis right away. So all that data is, we started off looking at a sales database, how you could filter out and look at, your top 10 customers, your top products, being able to drill down into the transaction level view. All of that gets pulled into a database that looks like this called Rebates Analysis. So I can get a nice view here of all of my suppliers, what our total rebate amount is, what the paid versus unpaid amount. So currently I've actually been paid 208,000. I expect to get 245, and what's the outstanding amount that's left. I can drill down and look at that by any of these if I want to get further detail on, one supplier, what particular products do we get those rebates for. Of course, we don't have payment data on the individual SKU, but I can keep going and I can look at, all the different rebate agreements that are associated to that one particular supplier and see, which rebates I get, which agreement I get the most rebates for. I can click right into here and it's going to take me back over into Phocas Rebates, where I can see exactly how that agreement is set up, be able to take a look at that PDF agreement as well. So now I can see for that particular agreement, I get the rebate on all illumination products, but nothing that's in the downlights category. The other area that a lot of our customers are very keen on seeing is being able to see what your margin and your true profitability is after rebates are accounted for. So this can be on both sides of the equation. If you've got customer payable rebates or supplier rebates, we can help you with both. So we can calculate that margin after rebates based upon that true cost. And we'd obviously like to talk to you about how you guys calculate those, because of course there is some stipulations, like if you were to bought the product in 2024 but you're selling in 2025, the costs might have changed a little bit, but just doing like an average cost basis. But same thing for the sales rebates, if you want to be able to see that true margin after you've paid each individual customer by each rebate. So now I can see here a quick view for each of my different suppliers, what our total PO value is, what that value is after rebates were applied, and look at that margin before and after rebates. I could sort this, down to even take a look at, some of those that are negative, or whatever ones are lower, and do some analysis there as well. And just quickly, if you do have customer payable rebates, you can also create these rebates within Phocas on that side. So we're going to be connecting that to your sales data, and you can do the same thing where we can look at, what our total sales are before we actually pay those rebates out to each customer, and also have a nice quick view of seeing each of our customers, what we are expecting to pay out to them, and what that profitability is for each one of those customers at a high level and down to the product level grouping. Now, a lot of this stuff is pretty difficult to do in Excel, and being able to post all this data, looking at it cumulatively in one place, being able to do that analysis, stay proactive, and giving your sales team and purchasing team some data to start making these decisions about what to purchase and where. We could also put in your inventory data too, so that if you already have those items on hand, maybe you don't want to make additional orders, even though you are going to get a massive rebate, because that is another part of it. But down here, I can have a nice quick view for each sales invoice and the total rebate amount next to the sales value side by side there. All of the data can be exported into Excel as well. So if you need to send this out to a supplier or send this out to a customer to make that reporting process easier for how much rebate dollars are owed or expected to receive, down to the transaction level on the PO side or on the sales invoice side, you can export this right away and get that detail. And then to flip back over to the purchasing database in CSD. Just to look for, since we've spent a lot of time on the purchasing side of things for the receivables, this is what it would look like. We would pull in your PO receipts, and then we can connect your rebates to any of these. So if you have rebates that are based off of the received cost, the received quantity, or even weight, especially for those of our customers who are in HVAC or plumbing and piping, a lot of the times those copper fittings, copper tubing, that kind of stuff, we see is based upon weight. So we can set up your rebate agreements to be off of weight as well. And we can filter it down off of any of these different categories here and off of these suppliers. So just back to our rebates, again, once you go in and create those projects, that all gets posted over into the analysis. So you have one-stop shop from being able to go look at your rebate agreements within Phocas here, being able to flip back and do your sales analysis, your purchasing, inventory, we can post all that into one dashboard for you to have an nice executive overview and be able to get a better, accurate picture of what your rebates are supposed to be on a daily basis. Okay, and so with that, that was a high-level overview. But just wanted to share a quote from an existing customer who's using rebates. One of them, they never really thought to use the sales rebates that they're paying their customers out on as a tool to actually use when selling. So if you are paying customer rebates out or even receiving rebates, you can actually start to use that as a proactive tool to get your sales team to sell more of particular items that you are receiving more margin off of. Or call your customers if they have a rebate or a spiff program. So if you wanted to start a customer rebate program to your customers, you could use Phocas to do that, get those rebates entered in, create that visibility for your sales team to be able to see, how far off certain customers are from hitting the next tier and help them cross-sell more items. Thank you guys all so much. If you are interested in learning more about rebates, you can also scan this QR code to book a demo, reach out to Alexa or I as well. And the next step really is for us to learn more about the types of rebate agreements that you have so that we can help get them automated for you. Thank you so much for your time.